Hi there, how you all doing this Friday morning? The weekend is almost here and I can't wait for it. I really need some sleep. Which brings me to what day is it today? It is World Sleep Day. And of course, we're going to address the issue. I'm sure all of you struggle with it, or some of you, I hope, struggle or not with it is what I'm trying to say. But it's not just that, lots more lined up this Friday for you. Let's take a look. It's World Sleep Day 2024. We debunk all myths about good night's sleep. What's a good quality sleep? What should you be doing to achieve it? And what is sleep apnea? Such a massive problem these days. We'll explain all of that on the program. "23 dog breeds have now been banned in India. Government has now called for action against these 23 what they called are ferocious dog breeds, which includes pit bulls, Rottweilers and wolf dogs. What should you be doing about it? Even if you don't have them, what kind of registration is really required? And is it really going to solve the problem of dog attacks? We'll talk. Also in mood for some culinary inspiration this morning, we have a chef who will take you through an array of flavors and also make with us some savoury parfait and millet sushi. You heard that right, millet sushi. Well, this week has been hectic enough, but thank God it's Friday. We have the perfect weekend planner for you, and if you're in Mumbai, really all you care about is that Ed Sheeran concert. But if you didn't get tickets to that, what you can watch is actually Yodha or Not, Siddharth Malhotra, and several others feature in this movie. And our very own Abhijit gives you a review to watch or not. Port taxis to now operate in Mumbai. What is this driverless little port that takes about 12 to 13 people from location A to location B? It's said to be a game changer in BKC area. We'll tell you all about that. Also this Friday, we've got something sweet for you, starting your day on the right note perhaps, and also it's now cheaper. Swiss chocolates and watches now available at a lower price, but how much lower really? We'll tell you on the program. Okay. I need coffee, lots of coffee for this segment because we are going to address the issue of sleep, and I seriously got none. It's the biggest irony of my life that I'm discussing it on World Sleep Day, and I've really barely slept last night. But let's start. Life these days is non-stop. It's roller coaster, right? And having decent night's sleep, not just for young moms and like me, is like chasing a unicorn. You just can't have enough of it. But before the pandemic, here's a statistic. In 2019, Indians were found to be the second most sleep-deprived people in the world. These stats now have gotten even worse because the pandemic just made everything harder, though habits haven't returned to normal. And according to the latest study, 61% of the Indians surveyed got less than 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep at night in the last 1 year. 23% of those surveyed got up to 4 hours of uninterrupted sleep. I'm clearly in that category these days. Now, the latest numbers are a proof that Indians are just not sleeping well. But then, what are the causes for that really? They differ from people to people. Some, it might be medical conditions, it might be sleep apnea. We'll tell you more about that on the program. Kids or partner-related interruption, outside noises, or the need to use the restroom, or disturbances from calls, messages. It could be anything really. But today on World Sleep Day, let's understand the science of sleep. How does sleep really work? So let's talk about that a little bit. So we all have these internal clocks that decide when it's time to be up and when it's time to hit the hay. And these clocks follow cycles of roughly 24 hours and are influenced by various factors: light exposure, darkness, consistent sleep routines. As you sleep, you progress through different stages as well of sleep, and this stage of sleep is what defines the quality of sleep. So, what do you really need to get what is called a healthy, good quality sleep? Just like eating right, you have to get enough sleep to be okay, and not just by getting any sleep. The crucial is getting the right kind of healthy, recuperating, good quality sleep. Good sleep impacts everything: your brain work, your mood, that we all know about, overall well-being as well. In fact, the lack of good sleep can create a lot of problems like heart diseases, stroke, infections, obesity, even dementia. Why? Because sleep actually acts like a crucial repair time for everything from your blood vessels to your immune system. Sleep impacts nearly every tissue in our body. It influences growth and stress hormones, appetite, breathing, and even blood pressure. But did you know that when we sleep, there's a cycle where your heart rate, your breathing rate, your blood pressure fluctuate, and this process plays a significant role in your health. Similarly, when we sleep, our body releases hormones and helps in repair of cells, regulate energy usage, all of that. And I never knew this, but in our research we found out that sleep actually impacts your weight. So, the important thing is that we prioritize good quality sleep, and it's very crucial for our overall well-being as well. But the question is, how much sleep is good enough? Now that's the critical thing, right? Sleep experts advise that adults should aim at somewhere between 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And according to American sleep expert body, those who consistently sleep less than 7 hours, adults that is, may face more health concerns compared to those who sleep 7 hours and more. However, sleeping more than 9 hours is also recommended sometimes, but that's for people who are, say, recovering from some illnesses or are young adults, and they are recommended to sleep for longer. If you're a child, then sleep is a mystery mostly, but what experts do tell us is that babies from 4 months to 1 year should sleep 12 to 16 hours per day, whereas teens should sleep somewhere between 13 to 18 hours per day. And as you grow older, you can sleep about 8 to 10 hours as well. So that's a lot of data for you to process. But of course, I'm sure you have questions. I have lots of questions. ये सब तो ठीक है, but इसका solution क्या है? So for that solution, we have Dr. Sonal Mehrotra with us here in the studio. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
So he is the Director for Pulmonology and Sleep Apnea at the Nanamati Max Super Speciality Hospital. He deals with sleep medicine and of course is the expert. And it's time now to understand a few things from him. The first thing I want to understand, Doctor, is, and a lot of people don't know about this, is the difference between good quality sleep and bad quality sleep, where you feel like you've been on the bed for so long, you locked in your 8 hours, but it didn't do anything for your body. So can you take us through what is the difference? How do you tell the difference?
Yeah. So first of all, good morning, and I hope everyone had a refreshing sleep. You gave fantastic statistics. I should also tell you that in that entire day of 24 hours, the most neglected part is the sleep. Because we are all busy working and so on and so forth, and sleep is something.
You plan your day, but you don't plan your sleep.
But don't plan your sleep, and we feel that sleep is okay. I can sleep for 5 hours. I have got this deadline to meet, and I need to wake up and do on it. So we don't pay attention to what is called as the quality of sleep, and that's what's the theme for World Sleep Day: the global equality, or we call about the quality for health, sleep health. So sleep is divided into different parts. And that is all controlled by our hormones. That is the sleep center. And the sleep center decides the quality of sleep. Our breathing, for that matter, is also controlled during sleep. So sometimes if our quality of sleep is not good, our breathing slows down, our heart slows down to such a level that sometimes there's a missed beat
Yeah, but we'll get into that. But can I request my producers to put up a graphic which actually talks about different stages of sleep, which is what people should be aware of and aim at, because I don't think people understand what good quality sleep is. They don't know iska matlab kya hai, like how do you know you've had good quality sleep?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we'll come to this graphic where we talk of, so once the lights are off, then say 20-30 minutes later you fall asleep, and the sleep goes into two cycles. One part is called as the non-REM sleep and second is the REM sleep. So there are two parts.
REM for our viewers means?
This is rapid eye movement.
Rapid eye
movement sleep.
Which is basically when you're sleeping, your eyes are shut and your eyes are moving.
Involuntarily.
Yeah.
And non-REM sleep is the initial part. So that's a light sleep. So we hear people, as we discussed, light sleepers, I wake up quickly. So that's the initial part of sleep, which is about say 20% of the sleep. Gradually the sleep changes into the N2. N2, yes. The N2 sleep, where the sleep increases to almost 30 to 40% of is the N2. And then it goes into the N3. Now N3 sleep is a very important sleep. It's one where there is a lot of restoration of the brain function. We start understanding, our brain starts realizing, and then all the toxins are removed from the brain, from the body, and that's where the N3 is very important. Now imagine that.
If we go back to that graphic, you'll see the most important part is what happens after N3.
Yeah. So if we go to the N3, as I mentioned, restorative. Now you get a mobile call. Suddenly, after about 1.5 hours of you hit the bed, you're breaking your N3. And the restorative sleep gets affected.
And when you fall asleep again, it will again start from N1.
So the REM sleep, which comes after the N3, is very important for our memory, for our intelligence, for our soundness. So again, that comes every 90 minutes. There is a cycle which goes through N1, N2, N3, then the REM sleep, then the non-REM sleep. So this keeps on happening. And once this gets fragmented.
So REM sleep is the one which is most important. That's the one that's getting your body into a recovery mode, right?
I would put it, REM sleep is important, but N3 is equally important because that's a restorative sleep.
Got it.
So sleep has its own cycles, it has got reasons, and somehow we don't really go into that.
Right. But then, doctor, tell us this, that a lot of older people I know, people struggle with sleep, young and old both. We are seeing the statistic move more and more towards younger people now who are struggling with sleep. But largely, even our circles, we find people above 50, 60 finding it very hard to sleep. It could be they pop pills, but the regular complaint amongst the oldies these days is ki neend nahi aati hai. And they have time, they make arrangements for it, they lie on bed but toss for several hours. What could be the reason for that?
So see, these are all multifactorial, but if you see physiologically, sleep reduces over age as age advances because our hypothalamus, that's a part of the brain, it also controls the circadian rhythm. What is this circadian rhythm? Is the normal sleep cycle. There is a small hormone called as melatonin. So that reduces, the effect of that on the brain reduces as age advances. So I would,
for all adults it should be
for almost 34% of people, they have lack of sleep or their amount of sleep starts reducing. Okay, and then there are other factors like people who are in the elderly age group, they go for urination frequently, so their sleep gets again broken down, or there is a lot of depression which comes in, or they sleep more in the daytime. So that doesn't allow their sleep cycle to happen properly in the night time. So that has to be also avoided.
But do you need lesser sleep when you grow old?
Yeah, it is. It is so that as we age, the duration of sleep definitely reduces, but up to 5 to 6 hours, not like 2 hours or 3 hours. It reduces.
So 5 to 6.
Generally
so tell me this. So if somebody is about 50 to 60 years of age, how much sleep do they need?
So see, up to 60 years of age, definitely 6 hours sleep is required. But by age, it happens that the sleep cycle reduces because of the melatonin and the hypothalamus circadian.
And that's normal?
That's normal physiological in almost 30-40% of the elderly age group above the age of 60. Okay, but here we are not talking of duration, remember. Again we go back to talking of the quantity and how many hours. We are coming back to lot of facts that the quality.
But coming back to quality, doc, now there are certain situations that one can't help. Okay, I have like last night I slept at 2 AM because my daughter refused to sleep and she's just 10 months. and I had to, again, my alarm went up at 4:30. I'm not looking at guys because I have a very great team and they do great makeup. But I had a terrible time. So what do people like this do when you can't control this? Is there a coping mechanism? Can I like go back and take a cat nap? Will that restore my cycle? Will that help my body?
Yeah. So that's a very practical, very common question. Yes, whenever there are issues like a child, which you can't ignore and you can't neglect it. You need to have your sacrifices done for that. You can always go back to a power nap. They have shown to be helpful and useful. But power nap does not mean 2 hours. Okay, 20-minute power nap is adequate. It does restore. It is helpful. But it's a
20 minute.
Yeah, it's a one-off situation. I mean, don't have that. Okay, every day I will sleep less in the night, and the next day morning or afternoon I'll take a 40 minutes nap, and that doesn't neutralize. You know, there are people who smoke and say, I will run extra for 2 kilometers. I mean, that doesn't equate.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
In the world of health, that doesn't equate.
Yeah. You should be like that professor in 3 Idiots who took like a 7-minute power nap. And, you know, that is how he made his day and all of that, right? But coming to the most critical problem, and this is a serious one. When it comes to sleep, there's something called sleep apnea that you and I were discussing, which is now a reason for fatality, for death. Can you explain to our viewers why it is so critical, and especially for people who are obese, people who snore, people who have a high blood pressure situation? These people need to be extra careful about their sleep. Why?
So, Sonal, very important point. We are talking of a disease or an illness or a syndrome, I should say, which is called as sleep apnea. Apnea means breathing stops for more than 10 seconds and allows the oxygen to go down to severely low levels, where a person may actually suffer a heart attack in sleep or a brain stroke in sleep, and no one will realize, even the patient doesn't understand that this is happening.
Just call it a stroke. They never say it's sleep apnea.
Yeah, it's never. So, unfortunately, we are not aware that there is an element called as sleep apnea, where the person gets a lack of oxygen, and there are.
But how do I know? How does one know ki sleep apnea hai?
It's very easily put up. One, if you are a snorer, there is a high chance that you have sleep apnea. One, snoring doesn't mean that you are unhealthy or you are bad, but snoring means that you should screen yourself to rule out sleep apnea. Second, if you are overweight. Now, when I say overweight, it means check your height in centimeters, check your weight in kgs.
Okay, I'm getting to understand that there's some issue with Dr. Salil's mic, but just to sort of recap that while my producers fix that for him, what he's trying to say is that there is something called a sleep test that is now available for how much?
For 8,500.
For about 8,500 rupees. If you get that sleep test done, they sort of monitor your sleep overnight and they tell you what are your issues. This is serious because this can stop strokes. This can ensure that especially those who are struggling, like I said, with snoring, with high blood pressure, whose body mass index is not okay, that means they're fat and obese. These people need to be extra careful. So get yourself tested and be more aware on this World Sleep Day. Thanks so much, Dr. Salil, for joining us with that. That was quite an eye-opener. And if you have these facilities around you, then there's no harm getting it done and understanding and being more aware of your body. Talking about being aware and new things that are happening, well, the latest in the series of dog attacks, we've been discussing this relentlessly on the program, it is that the central government now has written to the state governments asking them to ban the import, sale and breeding of certain dog breeds which are considered dangerous in India. Now, these banned dog breeds include Pit Bull, Rottweiler, Terriers, Mastiffs, etc. And a lot of their cross breeds as well, actually. And the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying sent a letter to all states wherein now local bodies were urged to refrain from giving licenses or permits to people for the sale or breeding of these so-called banned dogs. What are these banned dogs? They are popping up on your screen as we speak. Now, for people who already own these banned dogs, I'm sure they're very concerned. The point here is that all you have to do right now is ensure that your dog is registered and you have to sterilize the dog to ensure and prevent any further breeding. So we obviously were very concerned about what this means for people, what this means for dog attacks on the whole. So joining us next on the program is Shobhit Mohanty. He's the founder of the pack.in. Shobhit has been working relentlessly for a lot of awareness on dog breeding, on dog attacks as well. He also trains a lot of people to know how to be a good, responsible dog parent, and also tells them what are bad dog parenting habits, a lot of which we see happening on the streets of our country. So good morning, Shobhit. Thanks so much for joining us. My first question really is, this is
Hi,
just to
good.
sort of set the record straight over here. By banning, we don't mean that from today you can't have this dog. That's not what this means.
Hi, good morning, Sonal. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, so basically, just to sort of unpack the messiness that has been created in the last couple of days, what exactly has happened is that the Department of Animal Husbandry in India has sent a letter to all the state governments recommending that they impose a ban on 23 breeds that they have called as ferocious. Now, this does not mean that the breeds have been banned as of today, and it does not mean that anybody's dogs are going to be picked up from their homes and taken away from them. I just want to clarify this because there's a lot of fear right now
That's
in a
very
bunch of
important.
parents
Yeah.
who have yes. So nobody is going to come to your house, guys, and take away your dogs. What they have said is a recommendation on which the state governments and the municipalities can now act because someone higher up to them has suggested that this may be something that is needed.
Right. So the important bit here is also that a lot of people, because of a new law now, have to remember that regardless of these 23 breeds, whatever breed of dog you might have, you have to get them registered now with the government. That's absolutely important. And if you don't, you're going to fall into trouble. I'm going to request my producers to pop up some of the links where it's going to be helpful for you to go there and register your dogs. In major metros, we've picked up some links and we've put that up. So please use those. But you know, the question really here, Shobhit, is that does this really address the issue of the dog menace? As we've understood, of course, there are these breeds that are not meant to be domesticated, and they've been talked about in and why the so-called ban has been imposed. But the real problem is stray dogs. Shouldn't that be now a priority for the government to sort of address? Isn't that where the real problem lies? We're losing lives.
Yes, so I think there are a couple of real problems here, Sonal. I think the first real problem is in a lot of places, there's a lot of illegal breeding happening, which is resulting in dogs that are not healthy, that are not suitable for being kept at home, coming to homes, because people just feel that they can make a quick buck from this illegal practice. There are clear laws in the constitution and has been regularly notified by the governments, but not much has been done. That is one of the problems. I think the second problem, as you correctly pointed out, is that there are a lot of homeless dogs, there are a lot of community dogs, a lot of street dogs whose issues also need to be managed. There has been a lot of work being done on animal birth control and on community awareness, but it's still not enough, and more needs to be done. And I think third, and that is what we are primarily working on at the fact, is to spread awareness and education amongst pet parents. You see, 70% of people in India are first-time pet parents. And like myself, who got my first dog 6 years back, we all struggle because we just do not know. Let's be honest, we just do not know how to keep dogs. We have never had dogs before. We are doing it because we love them, but honestly, we don't have the skills for them. So, as pet parents, it is on us to educate ourselves, get ready before you get a dog, do your research, speak to the right experts, get help, get your dog trained. Because at the end of the day, your dog is not just a member of your family, but also an ambassador of all the dogs out there in the country. And if one Rottweiler bites anybody, everybody gets scared of the breed. So we need to do our bit as well, but
Yeah.
also the government needs
Yeah.
to step up.
The government definitely needs to step up, but and especially the municipalities in different states, because this issue is not something that comes under the central government. Different municipalities have to pick up and ensure that this dog menace actually comes to a halt. But importantly, like Shobhit also said, and we've discussed this on the program earlier as well, the issue of stray dog menace is actually coming from bad human habits. Feeding them when they are naturally scavengers, or domesticating the right kind of dog who doesn't want to be domesticated. So understanding those issues are at the center of this problem, and I think that's what needs to be addressed as well. Thanks, Shobit, for joining us. And we hope that people take home this message that you have to be a responsible dog parent. There's no harm. They're lovely, lovely creatures. I have one. But you have to be responsible. You have to know how to take care of them. And you have to understand, importantly, what they need as well. All right. All right, on that note, we're going to slip into a quick break. Coming up on the other side, all this conversation about sleep and then dog is making me a bit hungry. So we'll try out some really lovely cuisines on the other hand. Come right back for that.
With 50% plus vote share. 88 more than 2014. We need to see if it can stay with those vote shares. If it doesn't, this could be an open contest, viewers, let me tell you. And let me now take you back to the other side. Why is it that the BJP decided to quickly approach JDU, perhaps break the Shiv Sena, and also laser focus on the SAD? There could be backroom talks going on, we don't know, but this is a very telling number. The non-BJP parties secured a vote share of 50% plus in 117 seats. So, BJP got those in 224, but the non-BJP parties got them in 117 seats. Now, these very interestingly include Shiv Sena, which was the United Shiv Sena, the JDU and the SAD. And you see where the BJP is hit hard. It wants those parties weakened so it can retain that number and perhaps exceed. Remember, the number now, Mr. Modi set is not 303, it's 370, and for the NDA 400 plus. That's why this concerted effort over 5 years to break down the Shiv Sena, to win back the JDU, and to, of course, focus hard on the other side and try to break down the alliance game. Intriguingly, very interesting, this jump in vote share for the BJP, and I'm leaving it back to you, in those 224 seats, did not yield many more than obviously 2014. So while from 88 they went to a huge number of 224, and that means, as you can see, 88 more than 2014. It didn't get them many more seats. The vote share increased in seats where it's already quite strong.
Correct.
It needs to jump up in seats where it is not strong. See, to make that conversion 1-3.
Overall, what we are looking at is, I think somewhere the Prime Minister has shifted the dynamic. He has said 370 and 400 par. Technically, in our minds, ladies and gentlemen, we need to remember it's 272 par. If the NDA crosses 272, they are back in government. And if they go 300, then they are comfortable. Now, 303 is the last time around, 325, 330 plus overall for the NDA. That's why the Prime Minister has shifted the goalpost. But basis on this opinion poll, Shivani Gupta is there on the wall with us.
But the point is, had they not done what they've done to the Shiv Sena, not won back the JDU, it could have been a very tight contest.
See, even now it is about retention.
Yeah.
You have to also gain. You have to make more. So 303 to 370.
So it needs to break out of those 224 seats.
Yeah.
To get more than 30-40% of the vote share.
242 का तो report card निकल गया. 301 का निकलने वाला. Yes, Shivani.
No,
yes.
You talked very rightly about how the BJP, led by the Prime Minister, have themselves extended their expectations to that 400 par mark, and that's going to be historic. And you talked about where do they gain. Now, yesterday, as Rahul very rightly mentioned, what was the headline of our opinion poll, the mega News 18 opinion poll? 2 seats in Kerala, 5 seats in Tamil Nadu. Now, a lot of people are debating this still this evening. And today, we're going to actually talk about the other big southern states as well. We've got Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka results coming up in just a bit. And these are states a lot has happened. Karnataka went back to Congress. Telangana has gone to Congress. You've got Andhra where the BJP and the TDP for the first time since 2018 are coming back together.
True.
So a lot to watch out for.
Correct. But if you were to look at that belt, interestingly, let's keep Karnataka out. If you were to look Andhra, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, that's about 100 seats, ladies and gentlemen. And it's less than 10 seats for the BJP there. The NDA is not done well. Now, ADMK is also not part of that grouping. So, it's not going to be easy. They have to, and the part is, they have to get 67 more seats than the last time around. BJP itself, is it getting it or not? Let's look at where it is standing right now. 242 seats. The race to 272 because that's the halfway mark. So for us, first that, uske baad jo target set kiya wo if they meet it or not. So where is the BJP right now or the NDA right now? At 174. They need to get another 98 seats out of 301 remaining today. 98 seats to get to this 272 halfway mark. That secures them, as per the News 18 mega opinion poll, a third term. And INDA alliance is at 61. Will they get up close to about 200? Will they become a stronger opposition than they were in 2019? 2024 will we see perhaps a little more opposition and heft for the opposition as far as the parliamentary constituencies and at the centre in parliament is concerned. We'll have to wait and watch. Let's try and break this down.
All right, welcome back. And it's time for our Food Lack segment. And today we've got the former executive editor of BBC Good Food India, Chef Ananya Banerjee, is joining us on the program. She's globe-trotting chef. She's written several best-selling cookbooks, one of them being Planet Global, 100 Most Popular Global Recipes, and also Bangla Gastronomy, which is about journey of food in Bengali. But there's none of Bengali food. But Ananya, you've got some really amazing Indianized version of a global cuisine. I can't wait to see what you have. So should we get started then? Yes. All right. Yes. So what are we doing?
First of all, a very good morning.
Yay!
Yeah. So I'm doing a millet sushi and a savory parfait.
Okay.
It sounds international as we, I think we think global, but we are very local.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and
sushi-
millets, it's the year of millets.
Yes.
Everybody is talking about how much it's good for the soil, it's everything. So let's just start.
Yes.
But sushi for breakfast, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's try.
So instead of having, say, a millet upma or something, I thought of doing a millet sushi. Why not, incorporate some international flavors, but the roots are very Indian.
Very Indian.
Yeah.
Look at the massive chef's knife she's got. I don't know if you guys can see. It's like really like big and good enough to scare people.
So,
Oh, wow. Everybody has their own avocado peeling technique, no?
yes.
We had a chef earlier who just like scooped it out like that.
Yes. If
You're going all desi, or say haath se nikalo.
Yes. So basically, I'm going to layer this up in my sushi roll. So I'm doing this method.
Okay.
If I
Let
was-
me clear this out for you a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. Carry on, carry on.
Yeah.
And here comes some capsicum. So avocado is fairly local now. Everybody
Now,
gets it
yes,
everywhere.
yes.
In Mandi also you get avocado now.
Absolutely.
Very Indian grown avocado as well.
Yes.
And these are some, okay.
Red bell peppers, or you call
Just
it
some
capsicum.
colours. Yeah, capsicum.
Yeah. So I have, just to add some colors, I have 3 colored bell peppers. Here. I have some carrots as well.
I'll pass them on. Why don't you do the
yeah,
chopping
yeah.
and I will do the easy part. You know, the worst thing on Food Lab segments is that I have to wait for it to be put up. I'm so hungry most of the time in the morning. and it's been put together. I just want to like get to it. And I think that's what people want, Ananya. People want quick, easy, nutritious food.
Yes.
So is this quick and easy, or will this take time?
Of course, it's so easy, and no cooking involved. I think you're good to go in no time at all.
Okay,
So
but you
basically-
need these seaweed wraps. Oh, this is the fancy part. Okay, let's start.
I also need a tissue to just wipe it. So, bamboo mat, and these are the nori sheets or seaweed. Okay, it's extremely
And
healthy for
seaweed
you.
is good for health?
Extremely healthy.
What does it do to you?
It has, it is actually plant-based. So, it's good
But don't have it as is, huh? It doesn't taste that nice. You have to...
But it's an acquired taste. You can
Yeah.
have it if you like that taste.
Huh.
So basically, you place nori sheet on the bamboo mat,
Huh.
and here I have the millets, which is the hero here.
Okay.
So this is
What have you done to the millets?
barnyard millet. I have just cooked them.
Okay.
Like how you would cook rice and
Yeah,
put your
yeah.
sushi
so this
together.
is the replacement for rice and
Sushi
carb
rice.
early in the
yes,
morning.
Yes,
Yeah.
So this is full of protein and it's good for you.
So you can cook it overnight and just keep
Yes,
it.
yes,
Okay.
yes. You can always.
So over the weekend, if you're feeling particularly fancy and you want to try something out, so this is the dish for you guys.
So I'm adding a little bit of sushi vinegar. You can, if you don't have this, you can add your normal vinegar also. It gives a little tangy taste to
Apple
it.
cider vinegar,
Yes,
rice
yes.
vinegar, anything
Yeah,
that's really
anything,
available. You want me to toss it?
Yes.
Okay.
So a little salt, a little sugar.
Oh, sugar also.
Yeah, slightly
Okay.
sweet. So just mix that up, and we are good to roll.
Oh, wow. That's the fun part about sushi. And we'll plate it up there. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm almost
And here I
done.
have some paneer pieces, which you can use tofu as well. It goes well.
This is vegetarian sushi.
Yes.
Huh.
So no,
Desi vegetarian.
Yeah, you can put it here.
Here like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I love sushi. I've never
No,
made
you have to
sushi.
just place it in a way. I'm just wetting my hands and fingers so that I can place it evenly.
Huh.
So to make a square, don't go too much towards the edge.
Huh.
Just place it like a square.
You want
this
more?
much. Yeah.
Okay. So much fun.
Little more this side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And great thing to do over the weekend with your partner.
Of course.
Make it together, indulge the kids, ask them to all participate.
And see, I have used these vegetables. You can use whatever is there, in,
there
your
in the
fridge,
house.
and
Yeah,
you can really go creative.
Okay, so it's a square weed and you
Yes.
have to also put like a square placement of
Leaving-
your millet.
Leaving the edges, out.
Yeah, yeah.
So now it's time to roll. So you place whatever you want to add. I'm just adding these stir
Like
fried.
that, niche,
हाँ, niche.
okay.
So up
Let's add avocado.
avocado.
Right next to it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And some peppers that we made. Let's
Yes.
add some yellow, some
Good.
red. You have to tell me,
You're doing good.
thanks. But you have to tell me how much is too much.
Yeah, you can. I
That's
think
it.
that's
Yeah,
good.
that's
good.
it. Okay.
Uh,
I can
you
go
want to add-
overboard.
You can really add as much as you like. Maybe
Yeah.
a piece of carrot.
Yeah, yeah.
would also
I'm
look
big on
good.
veggies,
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
more the better.
So now it's time to roll. Now with the help of the mat, you have to just push it and make a roll. So keep rolling
This
it
is
like
the
this.
key part.
Yeah, just press it and go in a way so that you form a cylinder.
Yes. Oh, wow.
So your first roll is done. Now, what you do is you have to chop them. I mean,
Okay.
cut them into this.
But
this
why is
doesn't-
your knife in the water?
So this is like a tape, so that it doesn't stick. But once you're chopping and cutting, so you dip it in warm water. It's easy to cut.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
So just,
Okay, let
I would just do that.
help you out with some plating.
Yeah.
Very nice. These are.
I don't think anybody has done sushi like this, but I think it's extremely healthy to eat this. You're eating something fancy, and yeah, and just look at this.
Yeah. No gas.
No gas, yet it looks like
Very fancy.
you have
Okay.
sogged and you
But
made something.
sushi is not complete like this. What else do you need?
Yes, you need to have some soy sauce. Oh, sorry.
This can
I
happen
met-
at home also.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
No, no, it needs to be cleaned up. So,
Oh. Okay. No need to dip. It's already there now, everywhere. Okay.
okay, the little bit of this. Then comes the wasabi. Wasabi, you know, it is,
Yes.
yeah, it has that pungency. It just
But be
hits.
very careful with wasabi. Very little, and it is again a very acquired taste.
Yes.
So be very careful when you are
It's like-
consuming this.
It's like we Bengalis eat mustard. So it just hits you there. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that. So,
And what is all that? What is this?
so I'll just tell you what that is. That is the new age sushi is always garnished with some mayonnaise.
Yeah. That is if you
Some-
want to have some fats.
If you want to add it that fancy touch, otherwise don't. No, this is
I'm sorry, I'm hungry. I'm going to eat.
yeah.
We're
We'll
going to
be
have
coming
some.
to that also. So a little bit of wasabi you can add here. Again, be careful with it, not to add too much. And some gari. Gari is pickled ginger. Okay, I'm using my hands. Sorry. So just this. Now
How do you make this at home though?
you can slice ginger very finely, then dip it in vinegar overnight.
That's
so
it.
It'll take that color.
It's like
Yeah.
my
So-
mother would say sirke wala pyaz. It is
Sirke
that.
wala
Sirke wala ginger.
ginger. Adrak.
Now our chopstick skills, which I'm clearly not acing, but okay, let's try. Let's pick up some wasabi. Let's mix it in the soy. I don't like it too.
It seems you're a pro. Don't worry. Just
I love sushi. I just am wondering if this is something that I can not pay a bomb for in the restaurant, make it home.
yeah.
So just
Yeah.
pick that
Pick it
up.
up. Yeah. Yes, that's a better idea. Good. And if you want to be a little more fancy, what you can do is you can just add a little sriracha or a little bit of mayonnaise to go on top. If you like that taste.
I'm going for one more. This is damn yum. And I
Good.
can't tell that I'm missing rice at all.
Yeah.
Millet
no rice.
sushi? Oh. Okay.
Good. So I think we are good to go. I have another dish for you, which is, you know, people say that breakfast is the main meal. It should be eaten like a king or a queen for today. So when we are saying
Let me give
that,
you a challenge. Can you make it under 2 minutes? Cut.
yes,
Can be.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is curd.
This is curd. So first a little bit of curd. Then I have some granola which has nuts and oats. I think that's it for the time being. Yeah.
And you can
It
mix
has
whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Some crispies. I want crispies all the time.
What is best for you is the seeds, the mixed seeds. It has pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, you know, all of
And
that.
such a great thing to just end it. Can I just dive?
You want to eat it like that? I was thinking of doing layers.
Who has time in the morning to do layers, yeah? Ananya, this is like diving.
You've not added half the things, but I think the proper way would be to add some yogurt, add some fruits. Actually, let your
Clearly,
imagination
we're not going to
go.
end here. And Ananya will keep feeding me with different of the 7 layers recipes on your screen. I'm going to eat Meanwhile, please go watch this next story. This next story is about the movie Yodha. Or is it really? Check it out.
साला मैं नवाजू रात जिंदगी वो दिन है मैं रात है पर अपने को कोई कंफ्यूजन रखने का नहीं अपन क्लियर रखता है चीजें
कोई डाउट मत रखना दिल में
क्या है कि अपने देश में बहुत टाइप के योद्धा होते हैं कुछ योद्धा ऐसे होते हैं जो सड़क पे लड़ते हैं कुछ योद्धा बस के अंदर लड़ते हैं कुछ योद्धा ट्रेन के अंदर लड़ते हैं
मुझे अपने घर जाना है मुझे घर जाना है
कुछ योद्धा माँ कसम सीधे प्लेन के अंदर जैसे कि अपना सिद्धार्थ मल्होत्रा
नेगोशिएट करना तो कभी योद्धा का स्टाइल था ही नहीं। झूठ बोल रहा है।
फिल्म मिशन मजनू में ट्रेन के अंदर लड़ने के बाद अपने सिद्धार्थ मल्होत्रा का अभी हो गया है मस्त प्रमोशन अभी वो सीधे प्लेन के अंदर लड़ रहे माँ कसम मैं देखा मेरा दिमाग ऐसा तैसा हो गया मैं कहा क्या बनाया बाबा चीज
एकदम कड़क माल है।
इस फिल्म की जो कहानी है वो लिखी है सागर और पुष्कर ने और माँ कसम मेरे को क्या लगता है ना कि तभी फिल्म के मेकर्स इस फिल्म के रिलीज को पुश कर करके थक गए पहले कहा कि 11 नवंबर 2022 को रिलीज हो रही है आ जाना सिनेमा हॉल पे फिर कहा कि नहीं अभी 7 जुलाई 2023 को रिलीज हो रही है अब आओ फिर कहा कि नहीं अभी क्या है ना कि 8 दिसंबर 2023 को नक्की करते हैं इतना रिलीज आगे पीछे देख देख के मेरा तो अरे मन में थोड़ा सा क्लैरिटी रखने का अपने वासेपुर के जैसे एकदम डेफिनेट रखने का रिलीज डेट
आपका बहुत इज्जत करते हैं
यार मैंने फिल्म की थी बाबू मोशाय बंदूकबाज और इस फिल्म की रिलीज डेट पर से अब उठ चुका है राज मां कसम पूरे साल रामाधीर सिंह के जैसे बात आगे पीछे करने के बाद फिल्म अब आज फाइनली हो चुकी है रिलीज
ये कोई इत्तेफाक नहीं हो सकता।
इत्तेफाक हो भी नहीं सकते सिद्धार्थ तेरी पिक्चर थी 2017 में रिलीज हुई थी वो ये योद्धा है आज रिलीज हुई है तेरे को पता नहीं कि पागल बैठा के मैं इधर ऐसा इत्तेफाक तो यह है कि एक विलन में सिद्धार्थ मल्होत्रा ट्रेन नहीं पकड़ पाए थे और यहाँ पे प्लेन नहीं पकड़ पाए
छोटी मोटी गलतियां होती रहती सेनोरिटा।
नोएडा की एक यूनिवर्सिटी को पाकिस्तान बना के उसके सामने मस्त एकदम प्रोटेस्ट दिखाने के बाद सिद्धार्थ मल्होत्रा की एंट्री होती है जो माँ कसम पूरी पिक्चर में सुपर मारियो के जैसे बस वो चले जा रहे हैं और उसी के जैसे पाइप में से निकल दे रहे हैं एक कॉस्ट्यूम डिजाइनर पे एक नंबर का परपेंडिकुलर निकला ये राशि खन्ना को मारियो की ड्रेस ही पहना दी
बात मुझे क्यों नहीं आ जाती है।
अब एक्ट्रेस की अगर मैं बात करूं तो इस फिल्म में दिशा पाटनी भी माँ कसम पहले मेरे को लगा कि ये फिल्म में है ही नहीं पहले मेरे को लगा कि खाली प्लेन में बैठ के मालदीव्स जा रही है वहां जाएगी वहां नहीं फोटो अपलोड करेगी वो तो इंटरवल के बाद मेरे को पता चला कि दिशा पाटनी भी है ठीक वैसे ही जैसे इस फिल्म में हरिहरन का ये कैमियो देखने को मिला मेरे को ये तो मेरा एनालिसिस फिल्म योद्धा पिक्चर का मैंने तो पिक्चर देख ली आप लोग भी देख कर और बताओ अपने को कि कैसी लगी अभी के लिए अपन जाता है और मौत को छुप के वापस आता है ठीक है सलाम
Okay, on that note, thank God it's Friday. But if you haven't made your plans just yet, this next story will help you out.
Get ready to dive into a whirlwind of excitement as we unveil the hottest picks in movies, OTT releases, and events that are guaranteed to spice up your Friday and beyond in this week's TGIF. First up, here's the list of big OTT releases. Number 1 is Main Atal Hoon on Z5, a biographical drama depicting the life and legacy of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, one of India's most beloved prime ministers known for his oratory skills and statesmanship. Number 2 is Big Girls Don't Cry on Amazon Prime, a coming-of-age film exploring themes of self-discovery and empowerment as young woman navigates through life's challenges with resilience and courage. Number 3 is Murder Mubarak, coming up on Netflix. It's a gripping crime thriller unraveling the mystery behind a series of murders set against the backdrop of a bustling metropolitan city, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats. Number 4 is Hanuman. It's coming on 2 platforms, which are Z5 and Jio Cinema. It's set in a fictional place called Anjanadri. The film follows the story of Hanumantu, who gets the power of Lord Hanuman to save the people of Anjanadri and faces off against Michael, the villain, after coming in contact with a mysterious jet. Number 5 is Chicken Nugget. It's coming up on Netflix. It's a heartwarming comedy following the misadventures of a quirky group of friends as they embark on a road trip filled with laughters, friendships, and unexpected twists. Number 6 is Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. It's coming up on Disney Plus Hotstar. It's a spectacular concert film showcasing Taylor Swift's iconic performances spanning over different eras of her illustrious music career, offering fans a mesmerizing journey through her greatest hits. Number 7th is Young Royal Season 3 coming up on Netflix. It's the third installment of the popular Swedish drama series delving into the lives of young royals, navigating love, loyalty, intrigue amidst the opulent backdrop of a prestigious boarding school. Number 8 is Turning Point, the Bomb in the Cold War coming up on Netflix. It's a compelling documentary exploring the pivotal moments and decisions that shaped the course of the Cold War with a focus on the development and impact of nuclear weapons. Now here's the list of big movies. Number 1 is Yodha. It's an action-packed martial arts film blending elements of fantasy and adventure as a young warrior embarks on a quest to defeat evil forces threatening his kingdom, showcasing breathtaking fight sequences and mystical landscapes. Number 2 is Bastar, the Naxal story. It's a thought-provoking documentary film shedding light on the socio-political complexities of the Naxalite insurgency in Bastar of India, examining its origins, ideologies, and human cost of armed conflict. Number 3 is Razakar, the silent genocide of Hyderabad, a harrowing account of the Razakar movement during the partition of India, highlighting the atrocities committed against innocent civilians and the struggle for justice amidst a backdrop of communal violence. Now let's talk about the events that you can attend this weekend. Grammy-winning singer and songwriter Ed Sheeran is performing in Mumbai on 16th and 17th of March. Lemons and Peaches, a set feat Gursimran Khamba, is performing in the national capital. Now, renowned Bollywood playback singer Sonu Nigam is also performing live in Mumbai on 16th of March. Anubhav Singh Bassi is performing his set Kisi Ko Batana Mat on 17th of March in Mumbai. And there you have it, folks, your ultimate ticket to an unforgettable weekend with The Breakfast Club. Stay tuned, we'll come back with another list next week. Ciao!
So basically, if you're in Mumbai this weekend, your life is set. You can choose between Ed Sheeran and Sonu Nigam, and the variety goes on and on. I'm sure a lot of people are now traveling into Mumbai for these big concerts as well. So thanks, Akshi, for that. On that note, let's also now give you a wrap on what else is happening this Friday in India and across the world.
Today marks a significant milestone in the history of cricket as on March 15, 1877, the Melbourne Cricket Ground witnessed a historic clash that forever altered the landscape of the sport. It was there that the inaugural Test match unfolded between Australia and England, laying the foundation for what became the esteemed tradition of Test cricket. Today is World Consumer Rights Day. The significance of the day is to highlight the rights of all consumers and protect them from exploitation, discrimination and other forms of unfair practices. This year, the theme selected by Consumers International for World Consumer Rights Day is Fair and Responsible AI for Consumers. This theme highlights the growing importance of artificial intelligence at breakneck speed and the need to move quickly to ensure a fair and responsible AI future when it comes to consumer rights. The deadline issued by the National Highways Authority of India advising users to secure a new FASTag from a different bank ends today. This move comes in response to regulatory guidelines affecting Paytm Payments Bank, altering the recharge and top-up options for FASTag accounts beyond this date. And in a significant step towards transparency in political funding, the Election Commission of India published the electoral bond details provided by the State Bank of India on its official website on Thursday, a day prior to the deadline that was set by the Supreme Court. According to the data shared by the poll panel, purchasers of electoral bonds encompass a range of entities such as Grasim Industries, Piramal Enterprises, Torrent Power, Bharti Airtel, DLF Commercial Developers and many more. And in a groundbreaking verdict, a Japanese High Court declared the denial of same-sex marriage as unconstitutional. The ruling underscores a significant stride towards equality and inclusivity in Japan's legal landscape.
All right, on that note, it's time to say goodbye from today's show and this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did have any questions, queries, our feedback and handles are there, right there on your screen. So do send us that. But also, before we wrap, here's a quick programming note. The Rising Bharat Summit 2024 from News18 Network is a showcase of India's boundless potential as well as a celebration of its significant achievements. Over 2 days, on the 19th and 20th, prominent leaders and change makers will brainstorm the present and crystal gaze into the future. We'll have the Prime Minister as well in attendance and gracing us with his presence. So please watch out for that. 19th and 20th of March, right here on News 18. And the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying sent a letter to all states wherein now local bodies were urged to refrain from giving licenses or permits to people for the sale or breeding of these so-called banned dogs. What are these banned dogs? They are popping up on your screen as we speak. Now, for people who already own these banned dogs, I'm sure they're very concerned. The point here is that all you have to do right now is ensure that your dog is registered, and you have to sterilize the dog to ensure and prevent any further breeding. So we obviously were very concerned about what this means for people, what this means for dog attacks on the whole. So joining us next on the program is Shobhit Mohanty. He's the founder of the Pack.in. Shobhit has been working relentlessly for a lot of awareness on dog breeding, on dog attacks as well. He also trains a lot of people to know how to be a good, responsible dog parent, and also tells them what are bad dog parenting habits, a lot of which we see happening on the streets of our country. So good morning, Shobhit. Thanks so much for joining us. My first question really is, this is just to sort of set the record straight over here. By banning, we don't mean that from today you can't have this dog. That's not what this means.
Hi, good morning, Sonal. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, so basically, just to sort of unpack the messiness that has been created in the last couple of days, what exactly has happened is that the Department of Animal Husbandry in India has sent a letter to all the state governments recommending that they impose a ban on 23 breeds that they have called as ferocious. Now, this does not mean that the breeds have been banned as of today. And it does not mean that anybody's dogs are going to be picked up from their homes and taken away from them. I just want to clarify this because there's a lot of fear right now in a bunch of parents who have, yes. So nobody is going to come to your house, guys, and take away your dogs. What they have said is a recommendation on which the state governments and the municipalities can now act because someone higher up to them has suggested that this may be something that is needed.
Right. So the important bit here is also that a lot of people, because of a new law now, have to remember that regardless of these 23 breeds, whatever breed of dog you might have, you have to get them registered now with the government. That's absolutely important. And if you don't, you're going to fall into trouble. I'm going to request my producers to pop up some of the links where it's going to be helpful for you to go there and register your dogs. In major metros, we've picked up some links and we've put that up. So please use those. But you know, the question really here, Shobhit, is that does this really address the issue of the dog menace? As we've understood, of course, there are these breeds that are not meant to be domesticated, and they've been talked about in and why the so-called ban has been imposed. But the real problem is stray dogs. Shouldn't that be now a priority for the government to sort of address? Isn't that where the real problem lies? We're losing lives.
Yes, so I think there are a couple of real problems here, Sonal. I think the first real problem is in a lot of places, there's a lot of illegal breeding happening, which is resulting in dogs that are not healthy, that are not suitable for being kept at home, coming to homes, because people just feel that they can make a quick buck from this illegal practice. There are clear laws in the constitution and has been regularly notified by the governments, but not much has been done. That is one of the problems. I think the second problem, as you correctly pointed out, is that there are a lot of homeless dogs, there are a lot of community dogs, a lot of street dogs whose issues also need to be managed. There has been a lot of work being done on animal birth control and on community awareness, but it's still not enough, and more needs to be done. And I think third, and that is what we are primarily working on at the fact, is to spread awareness and education amongst pet parents. You see, 70% of people in India are first-time pet parents. And like myself, who got my first dog 6 years back, we all struggle because we just do not know. Let's be honest, we just do not know how to keep dogs.
A very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching the morning news on CNN News 18. I'm Anjali Pandey here to take you through all the latest news and developments from across the nation and around the world. And we're starting off this bulletin with some breaking news that's coming in. And government sources have said that SBI can't match year-end and under time pressure. Sources further said that not being able to match will defeat the entire purpose of disclosure. Disclosure contradicts bank non-disclosure clause and also corporate confidentiality. So government sources have said that the State Bank of India can't match year-end and also the under-time pressure. In fact, the sources further said that not being able to match will defeat the entire purpose of disclosure, as if disclosure contradicts bank non-disclosure clause and also corporate confidentiality. So this is the breaking news that's coming in. And our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is now joining us to give us more context to this particular breaking news. Pallavi, over to you.
Well, I mean, there has been a lot of criticism and a lot of controversy over the electoral bonds issue, but the government has consistently maintained that the entire idea of introducing the bonds in 2019 was a transparency in the system, that we come to know that who's giving money and where's the money going. And rather than allowing any kind of black money, there has been a tradition in the past, which is before the electoral bonds, where, there were corporate sectors or political parties, more specifically, who would legitimize their black money by saying, oh, we got this as a political donation. The electoral bonds, and to quote a top government source, it may have had its initial lacuna, there may have been failings, but the entire intent was very much clear that we have to get rid of black money. But with that also came the point of the confidentiality clause to those which was applicable on even those who were providing the money or who were buying the bonds, and also the companies who were involved with it. Now, after a Supreme Court verdict, there was a sense of concern because, as we all know, 31st March is the year end. Lot of pressure on the State Bank of India, but thanks to the Supreme Court verdict, all the SBI management, the workers would have to be activated across the country, and they really don't have that kind of a time or wherewithal at their disposal. And to have a blow by blow or a match by match account correlating the donation or the purchase of bonds with where it's coming from, who's given it, and to whom it has been given becomes very unfeasible, and it's practically not possible.
All right, Pallavi, thank you so much for all those details. Right now, we have some more breaking news coming in related to the electoral bonds. And Supreme Court to hear the electoral bonds case today. The Election Commission of India moves Supreme Court seeking modification and also clarification of its 11th March order. In fact, the Election Commission also seeks release of documents submitted by EC before top court in sealed covers. Now, remember, the Supreme Court on March 11 had ordered SBI to disclose the details of electoral bonds to the Election Commission by close of business hours on March 12th. And now the EC has moved Supreme Court seeking modification and clarification of the 11th March order. Our legal correspondent Ananya Banerjee is now joining us with more details on this. Ananya, what can be expected in the Supreme Court today as far as the electoral bonds case is concerned?
Well, definitely, the electoral bonds case has seen a lot of tides and tides, and we just saw that recently the Supreme Court turned down the application of the State Bank of India, seeking, in fact, more time to actually provide that particular data that we got from them, and to send it to the Election Commission of India. But what is very, very clear at this point of time is that the Election Commission of India has now moved it upward, because remember that certain data was submitted by the ECI to the Supreme Court in a sealed cover. The same sealed cover was not opened, was opened and then was again resealed by the Supreme Court, and that data also needs to be uploaded, is what the Election Commission of India says. And hence for that, since that was a sealed cover report, it had directly gone to the Supreme Court, and that was not available with the ECI anymore. And that's the reason why the Election Commission of India has now knocked the doors of the Supreme Court again, that please deseal that data, give it to us, and then only can we upload that particular data that the Supreme Court had asked them to do. So that's the reason why the Election Commission of India has now approached the top poster of the country seeking a modification of that particular order. And the Election Commission of India would be, the Supreme Court would be considering this, a 5-judge bench, the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court headed by the Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud himself, will be hearing this particular matter at 10:30 today. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out, whether or not the ECI would be granted this particular relief, or there would be some kind of a heated argument, just like the previous day. It's something that we'll have to wait and watch for until 10:30 today, when the hearing actually begins.
All right, Ananya, thank you for those details, but please stay with us. And now we're shifting focus to another big story. The political showdown over CAA continues to escalate. After Union Home Minister Amit Shah clarified that no state can stop the implementation of CAA, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan dared centre to implement CAA in Kerala. Vijayan said that Kerala will approach the Supreme Court to stop the implementation of the CAA, and in fact he also questioned the silence of LI Congress Party on the issue of CAA, and also said that Rahul Gandhi remains quiet on this issue as if he has never heard about this law. Vijayan in fact also said that Kerala will neither bow down or keep silent over CAA. Other opposition leaders also continue to oppose CAA, calling it unconstitutional and a bid to polarize votes by the BJP.
इस देश के अल्पसंख्यक माइनॉरिटीज या तो किसी और व्यक्ति को डरने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि सीएए में किसी की नागरिकता लेने का प्रावधान ही नहीं है। सीएए का कानून कभी वापस नहीं जाएगा और भारत की नागरिकता सुनिश्चित करना ये भारत का विषय है, भारत की संप्रभुता का निर्णय है। इसके साथ हम कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं कर सकते। जब विभाजन हुआ तब पाकिस्तान में 23% हिंदू थे, हिंदू और सिख थे। आज 3.7% बच गए। कहाँ गए सारे? इतने सारे तो यहाँ आए नहीं। धर्म परिवर्तन हुआ, अपमानित किया गया, दोयम दर्जे के नागरिक के नाते इनको रखा गया। कहाँ जाएंगे ये लोग? ममता जी को शरणार्थी और घुसपैठिए दो शब्द के बीच का अंतर ही मालूम नहीं है। दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अपने भ्रष्टाचार के उजागर होने से अपना आपा खो बैठे हैं। 2014 तक जो आ गए इनको नागरिकता देनी है, और इतनी ही चिंता है तो वो क्यों बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों की बात नहीं करते हैं? रोहिंग्यास का विरोध क्यों नहीं करते हैं? इस विषय पर राहुल जी से एक बार चर्चा करके डिटेल पूछ लो। कमरे में बैठकर आपको इंटरव्यू करे सीएए पर और समझाए, जो वो बोल रहे हैं वो इतना समझा दे जनता को।
And we have some more inputs coming in on this story. New Citizenship Amendment Act rules have been challenged before the Supreme Court. Now, various pleas, including that of the IUML, to be mentioned for urgent listing today. And these petitions seek immediate stay on the implementation of the new CAA rules notified by the Government of India. Our legal correspondent Ananya Banerjee is with us to give us more details on this. Ananya, can you tell us about the pleas that have been filed against the CAA rules?
Well, definitely, various petitions, including that of the Indian Union Muslim League, has been filed before the top poster of the country, seeking an immediate halt on, in fact, the implementation of these new rules that the government has recently brought in. While, these petitions go on to say that this is a law, and in fact, these rules too are discriminatory on the paths of religion. They single out one particular certain particular minorities, and in fact, leave out one particular minority group, is what, in fact, has been stated granted by these petitioners before the Supreme Court, the matter is likely to be mentioned before. In fact, a bench headed by the Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Not only this, these petitions actually seek an urgent stay. So whether or not the Supreme Court, the first question that remains to be answered today is whether the Supreme Court would be allowing for an urgent listing of these particular petitions. When will these petitions be heard? And most importantly, whether or not a stay would be granted by the Supreme Court on the implementation of these particular laws. Because in the recent past, we've seen that whenever, if I take the example of the Delhi Services Bill or the recent one being in fact the Delhi Services Bill, the Supreme Court had not stopped any kind of a thing on these particular laws, because remember that lawmaking is part of the legislature. It is the whole and sole business of the legislature. And whenever the Supreme Court actually intervenes, though definitely a power of judicial review remains with the Supreme Court, but it also has certain limitations. It cannot go beyond certain point, and that's something that would weigh upon with the arguments of the respondents today as well. So we'll have to wait and watch as to whether or not that urgent hearing would be allowed by the Supreme Court or not in this particular case, and secondly, whether or not a stay on the implementation of these new rules would actually happen or not.
All right, Ananya, thank you so much for all those details. So a crucial hearing in Supreme Court today as far as the Citizenship Amendment Act is concerned. Now let's listen in to what the Hindu refugees have to say on the rules notified by the government on CAA.
From the law CAA, now the focus has actually shifted to the politics around it. First, we heard what the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee had said. In fact, they had mentioned many points regarding why CAA is not for this country and why it's unconstitutional. On the other hand, Home Minister Amit Shah has also launched an all-out attack on all the opposition parties, naming each one of them starting from Rahul Gandhi to Mamata Banerjee. Well, once again, we are in one of the settlement camps in the national capital, and this is the Majlis Park settlement camp of the Pakistani refugee who've been staying here for a very long time. इस पे कई जो दिल्ली में नेता हैं और हिंदुस्तान में भारत में नेता हैं, वो कह रहे हैं कि ये कानून गलत है. क्या आपको लगता है कि इन बयानबाजियों से आप लोगों को कोई फर्क पड़ता है?
हाँ, फर्क तो बहुत पड़ता है. एक कानून जो केजरीवाल बोल रहे हैं, ये गलत बात है. क्यों, हमें पहले भी भारत के थे, अभी भी भारत के हैं. और जब भी 1947 में बंटवारा हुआ था, तभी हमारा माँ बाप वहाँ रह गए. इसी के लिए हमारा भारत देश है और भारत में रहेंगे, और कैसे भी करेंगे हम रहेंगे भारत में. परंतु केजरीवाल जो बोल रहे हैं गलत बोल रहे हैं. बंटवारा में नेहरू लाल ने भी वचन करा था कि जो हिंदू लोग हैं, बंटवारा हो जाए तभी हिंदू लोग भारत में जा सकते हैं, आ सकते हैं. ये वचन था. परंतु अभी जो ये केजरीवाल कर रहे हैं, ये गलत कर रहे हैं.
आज तक आपने यहाँ पे बहुत से लोग काम करते हैं आप लोगों के लिए. आपने किन किन लोगों को यहाँ पे देखा है ग्राउंड पे काम करते हुए आप लोगों के लिए?
ये तो हिंदू परिषद आते हैं, आरएसएस वाले आते हैं, वो लोग आते हैं. वो बाकी तो और दिल्ली के केजरीवाल के लोग नहीं आते, वो आरएसएस वाले भी आते हैं.